Good evening, everybody. We're definitely having a nice spring evening here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I even washed the T-Bird off tonight. All right. Yeah, I got the battery, and that started the car right up, so I've just got to do a little tweaking. All right. I guess everybody's in that's going to get in tonight. All right. There's nothing new or exciting to express about the market other than it's in a nice little steady uptrend with the expectation now that more than likely it's going to the top of the trend channel, which means it should be heading up in this direction, which easily calculates into we're going to have a few more positive trading days ahead. The Nasdaq, kind of the same scenario after the big long-legged doji gap up. Remember, this is your best friend. The doji followed by a gap up, especially coming out of an oversold condition, tells you there's a lot of force in this new direction. It pretty much broke this downtrending channel. Now we're waiting to see what it's going to do with this downtrending channel, which means the likely target is at the 50-day moving average. So that gives us anywhere from 1 to 7 trading days to the upside. Let's see. Somebody might need to help CM. And let's see, the S&P 500, somewhat along the same lines, that gap up through the T-line, breaking this downward trend channel. Make this a little bit bigger. Makes, again, this trend line up here our likely target. So even the transportation index, and this is usually the leader, notice where this bounced. Right here, smack dab off the 50. If they break out through this level, that tells us we're going up to this level, also implying we're going to be a few more days to the upside. So let's take a look at the other indicators, the interest rates. The bond prices are coming down a little bit, but still not significant enough to make it, let's see if we make this. We're just kind of right here sideways. The interest rates aren't going anywhere. Crude oil prices. Yeah, Mary, up in the very top part of just above the gray area of your screen. Yeah, there you go. Crude oil prices still slowly moving up. We're right at a breakout level here at the 104 stage. Gold is still heading down ever since they gapped it down through the 50 and the T-line. As you can see, that's all acting as resistance. If they hit this level and break through there, now we've got a bearish J-hook pattern telling you they can take it all the way back down into this area, the 1240 area. Whoops, hang on for a second. Their weather here is warm enough. We already had to start putting fans on. Let's see, silver, still in a downtrend. Nothing exciting in this area. What are we looking at here? Soybeans, the May soybeans pulled back a little bit today, but not have any great magnitude. Let's see if I'm in the right soybeans. July soybeans, yep, still in that slow uptrend. Just checking to see if there's any Let's see, cotton's still in a downtrend. Well. Let's see, July cotton absolutely flat. Lean hogs backed off today, but still looks like they're in this trend channel. I don't know what the cattle still kind of in a downtrend. Notice how it's rolling over a little bit. Let's see, I'm trying to think of a dollar. Dollar trying to do a double bottom, and notice how it bottomed out, did a bullish harami with a gap up, right, telling us that they're at least going to test the 50. If they break through the 50, they're coming up to this end of the trend channel. So that means the euro should be on its way down. Looks like it in this downward trend channel. And the Japanese yen, which has been trading by itself, it's hit the top of the trend channel on its way down. Okay, I can't think of anything else in the commodity area. Cocoa. See if cocoa just looks like it's sideways. And coffee's not going anywhere with any great significance. Corn, this is the July corn on its way down. More than likely coming back to a first target of the 50 and or the 200. All right. Tonight, I think we're going to concentrate on being ready, which is one step further. Not only analyzing what the signals are telling us, but what the signals are, what we can calculate or anticipate from the signals as far as a high probability trade. Does the dollar going up mean something, the economy, or just does it mean the euro is going down? In this case right now, with the dollar not going anywhere, it doesn't really mean anything. It's when one of these currencies get to an extreme that says that's going to change the economy for that country. So if the dollar was way overbought, that means the economy is at a uphill battle because it's too expensive for people to buy our products. On the other side, if the dollar is way down, that's usually good because that means other countries will be buying our products. But it all depends on what the psychology is when you see some of these extremes. If gold is up, that's because everybody's worried. The dollar should be going down and the market should be going down. If gold is way down, that means the market should be going up because nobody's got any fear factor out there. But 6 months from now, the opposite could be true of the same price action somewhere. So, yeah, the dollar going up may mean crude oil prices are going down, or vice versa. Okay, let's take a look at a few that we've been in. Whoops, that's not what we want. That's copper. We want to be looking at CPE. CPE has this nice little fry pan bottom breakout. Today it looked worrisome, and this is why I always tell people, wait to the end of the day. Because they took this all the way down here. It looked ugly most of the day, but notice where they ended up. I don't know why that little thing is bobbing around up there. It ended up near the top of the trading range, telling us this was just a profit-taking day today. So this one's still, the reason it wasn't that worrisome, unless it had closed down here, then obviously you'd have a big bearish engulfing signal. But you weren't quite in the overbought area yet. So basically what this is telling us, or one of the aspects of knowing what type of pattern we're in, if we're in a wave 3, it means this wave right here should be equivalent to wave 1. So if that's the case, then this pullback today wasn't quite at the end of this uptrend. We should see some more upside. Let's see. WBMD is one that we've been kind of throwing around in the options trading room. This is a very simple pattern. When you see a kicker signal, especially a kicker signal coming off a major support level, expect an uptrend after that. So if I see a kicker signal, I'm buying as fast as I can, and or I'm buying the calls because I know the result is usually going to be a strong move. This told you there was a dramatic change of investor sentiment. What I have discovered is I know I repeat a lot of these rules that should occur. I think I'm going to make a whole video just based on what should be expected after a doji, after a big day, obviously a doji sandwich. Then the next thing is, what do we expect after a doji sandwich? More upside. What do we expect if we see a morning star signal at the end of a flat trading range? That acts like that little mini scoop slingshot. So not another book, just kind of a maybe a video on trading rules. Rick, we have an options trading room that just kind of orients the conversation more toward option trades, so that we weren't putting that conversation out in the main chat room. So we have a whole different room for that. If you'll email Abraham@candlestickforum.com, he'll get you that information. CONN, this one's still a good looking chart, staying above the T line. I'm looking for a J-hook pattern, especially if they open this positive tomorrow. That tells me that the upside potential is still up here near the 200-day moving average. And let's see what else we got. We're still hanging on to SLCA, just kind of a steady eddy. This is the type of chart you want to have in your portfolio that you just stick with one criteria. You close this one out when you see a candlestick sell signal and a close below the T line. Other than that, you just stay with it. And if you have a portfolio of 10 or 12 positions, and 4 of them are steady eddies, you don't really have to do a lot of analysis. All you do is say, I'm going to stay long until I see a sell signal to close below the T line. That means I can concentrate on the other 8 with that much more put more emphasis on the other 8 and not have to be concentrated on all of them. Let's see. We recommended PVA today. This is part of that get ready, because if it did a doji type day on Thursday, after it came up through the T line, breaking this downward trend channel, if it opened positive today, we want to be buying immediately. Why? Because that tells us we got a doji sandwich. We already can do our analysis, which is they had a long-legged doji, and where did this bottom out? Right about the same trend channel. You can see very easily there's a trend channel going on. And now they've done a doji sandwich, and what do we expect after a doji sandwich? More upside, which means I'll start watching for a sell signal when it hits this level up here, which means I'm looking for around a $20 move to that area. EXH, another one where you want to get ready, because you're starting to get this, you're pushing on the breakout area. If you haven't bought this one becomes fairly easy. Again, this is another one that we've been pushing in the option trading room, that if this breaks out through this level, we've essentially got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Now we've got wave 1, wave 2. If this breaks out into wave 3, this could go up to the $50 range. This makes for either a very good call if it breaks out, or a call spread by buying maybe the 45 and selling the 50. Let's see, BWP. Again, this is why we like buying the patterns. Here's that big fry pan bottom, and it's breaking out over here. We gapped up through this level, which was kind of the start of this fry pan bottom. Then it's breaking out through this level, which is where it gapped down. which means now we're in no man's land. There's no resistance up here until we get back up to this level where we'd be filling the gap, which equates right to the 200-day moving average. So at least we have a target. And is this a viable move? Definitely. When you come out of these fry pan bottoms and they start gapping it up, that tells you it's starting to get back in with some force. This is one you want to hang on to until you see a sell signal. BIOF was a nice breakout on Thursday, gave back a little bit today, but notice where this consolidated back to, right back to the T-line. There's your left or your bullish engulfing signal. Basically tells you the profit taking's over. It confirmed the next day. We were buying because what was our first target? They were probably going to take it back up and test this area, which they did, and plus some. They did some consolidation today, but what's all the evidence that tells us this uptrend is not over yet? One, they couldn't even get it back below the 3T line, which tells you you're still in a strong uptrend. Two, our stochastics aren't anywhere near the overbought area. So this basically just tells us this is a nice J-hook setup, just some profit taking during the day. So now, do we always hit good trades? Absolutely not. So part of the my learning curve through the years was, what do I do when I have one that goes bad? Today, Plug opened up very nicely, did exactly what a breakout should do, and then it closed back here. So the question has to be in your own mind. Now, I say the question has to be in your own mind because our own mind is saying, man, I don't want to sell this. I just bought it today. I want to turn right around and sell it for a loss. The answer should be, is this a chart that you'd be buying right now? And if it's definitely not a chart you'd be buying, take your money out. The reason we bought this today is because it gapped up and was trading positive. When it came back down through here and closed back below the T line, it basically told us we were right back into this trading range. That's exactly where we didn't want to be. Close out the trade, take that money, and go and find something that will not only get your money back, but then some. Now, I kind of illustrate this because through all the years where I've watched other people tell you how magnificent their trades are and use their system, very rarely do they come back and say, all right, if a trade goes bad, what should you do? And the mentality training that I had to go through for years is that every trade that I pick out that has a good chart to it is not going to work. I've discovered if I see something that doesn't work, close it out because there's another one tomorrow that's going to work and get your money back. What's our normal reaction to this type of situation? Man, I'm going to hang on to it just to see if I can get back to even or see if it will come back up again. And what usually happens is it lollygags for 2 more weeks and your money is stuck there because you're hoping that it's going to do something different than what the chart is telling you it's going to do. Somewhat the same scenario with STKL. This one was a good looking chart, had the J-hook potential. Then it failed and gapped down. That told us we should be back out of this trade because what did we expect out of a J-hook? That they should be opening, what's that darn little thing doing? Opening positive and breaking out into wave 3. When it didn't, told us we should be back out of this trade and go on to something else. Now, that creates a loss. But if you don't ever get into the mental mindset that you're going to have losses and know how to close them out quickly, that keeps you from getting back into good trades that might look like this and get your money back faster. Okay, what else do I got? Okay, some other good looking charts right now. Moby. Notice the indecisive trading and then a gap up through the T line and it closed right at the 50. Very simple. If this opens positive tomorrow, you want to be a buyer for a few reasons. Stochastics coming out of the oversold area. You've got kind of a cradle pattern set up. You've closed above the T line and you've broken this downtrending channel. If it opens positive, the 50 is not going to act as resistance anymore. And what's the potential return? Potential return going from about the 780 level, let's say, to the $12 level. That's a little over 50% return. I want to find, I think it's a little over 50% return, yeah. That's the type of thing I want to find. In the future, can you do a member session on sell signals? Sure. I mean, the sell signals are just the opposite of the buy signals. You can tell when the selling is starting to take place. There's your left-right combo. That was time to sell. But we can do a session on sell signals. FueCell was pointed out in the chat room today. This one has the makeup for a very strong buy on a positive open tomorrow. Because what's our simple rule of a doji? It's going to move in the direction of how they open it after a doji. What's this doji done for us? It's broken this little wedge formation. If they open this positive, what do we got going? A doji sandwich, which means we're going higher, which means we definitely have broken out of this level. And where, after they had the big reversal, where did they bring it back to? Smack dab right here on the 50-day moving average, and starting to take it back up again. Use the slow stochastics. Remember, the stochastics aren't what we're trading. The stochastics are just telling us where are we in the trend. Are we in the oversold or overbought condition? Ad sale. What do you do with a huge red candle that is a bearish engulfing with huge volume, and the next day closes almost 200-day? Let's see. Is that what happened today in the CMG? Well, what's this basically tell you? This pretty much tells you that they are ready to sell. This is a huge sell signal. More than likely, yes, the 200-day moving average is your next target. So this would have been a case where if I was long and it gapped up and it started hitting back, I would definitely put my stop at the previous day's close, because if it comes down through there from up here, that tells you there's a lot of selling pressure. Are most of your picks low price stocks? No, Nancy. What I do is when I do my scans, I don't look at the price. I look at the price because I already sorted them by $5 or greater. I'm looking for the best signals. Sometimes, because there's many more lower price stocks and higher price stocks, more than often we're going to get the lower price picks. But that doesn't keep us from occasionally recommending Netflix on the buy, and I forget where was Netflix trading after hours, somewhere up in this range. So, but usually the higher price stocks I mentioned more over in the options trading area. Okay, let me go through some of these just so I can get to the brilliant points that I'm trying to make tonight. Groupon, this has got a good looking chart. This is part of the get ready syndrome. We got a doji right now after buy signals and a close above the T line. If it opens positive, what are we going to have? We're going to have a doji sandwich. We're going to have probably the same type of day as we saw here. And that would mean if we got more upside, they're eventually going to break out through. So our first target is up here, the top of this handle channel, and then possibly a breakthrough. Okay. All right, that flexes up to 370. All right, that's probably going to help out the market quite a bit. Kendai is another one where we kind of get ready, because we've had the little doji hammer, gap up, and we're right smack dab on the 50-day or on the T line. Stochastics coming out of the oversold area. So if this opens positive, what is it telling us? Pretty much telling us it's confirming this signal. Number one. Number two, it's telling us that they're not going to resist anymore at the T line. And three, it's telling us this downtrending channel is being breached. These are all the indications of why you want to be buying a stock right at that point. Halliburton had what we call a trend kicker signal today. What's happened? Now this is more of a dark candle here. Let me make this bigger so we can see it better. But anytime you see a trend kicker signal, notice how this started with the uptrend of a Morningstar signal, broke through this level, sold it off, and then they gapped it up the next day with stochastic still heading up. That tells you there's more upside of the trend kicker. And that's kind of the same reason why we had recommended WAV. Let me make this bigger. Notice what we had here, kind of that Morningstar signal. Then we had a down day. Then the next day they gapped it up and went the opposite direction, doing a trend kicker, which told us if they broke through this level, there was more upside. And now we've got the potential of a doji sandwich, which means they should be taking it up here. So this basically tells us we're in an uptrend, obviously. But the trend kicker is just a good, strong signal. A trend kicker is where you're in a trend, you have a down day, and then notice what they did the next day. They gapped it up above the previous day's open and took it up. Now this happens in a trend, whereas normally our kicker signal works at the bottom where you have a dark candle, then they gap it up and go the opposite direction. This trend kicker is occurring during the trend, which means there's going to be more upside. Let's see, we did Netflix. JCPenney is doing a scoop type pattern. This one's still, I think we're going to be up and running on our long-term picks. I think it's up already for members. I've got to get Tim to give me the link so everybody can get to it. But this is probably going to be one of them that's going to be on the long-term pick area. See if I can show a long-term chart. Now it's kind of broken this downtrend. When they did, they gapped it up. They pulled it back. Now we've got a scoop pattern setting up. So worst case scenario, in 2, 3, 4 months, this might be back up into the $12, $14 area, which is a decent percentage for holding long term. And that means the one that we've already kind of thrown out there, Whiting, we started recommending this a few weeks ago, right back in this area. Not because it was the pattern itself, but because of the long-term chart was telling us when they broke this downtrending channel that we should be in an uptrend, and because they're in the Balkan field up there in North Dakota, they probably still have a lot more upside. So we're going to start seeing some for those that can't sit and trade every day or every few days. We're going to have a whole section of long-term picks, and I've got to call my friend Ralph Acapora. I think he will be on the 29th, which I think is a Thursday night. No, it's a Tuesday night next week, and he's going to kind of give his view on what sectors and what the long-term economy looks like. So usually they go for about 45 minutes, and I quit talking and I do charts, and then it goes for another 45 minutes or so. And I'm way over time right now because I'm only. So let's start flying through some of these. BCRX. BCRX. This one you want to start buying. Notice the cradle type pattern. If it opens positive, it's breaking this downtrend. First pop could be back up here to the 50, which is a good 25% move to the upside. Yeah, how late can you stay up? I usually talk until Z's just fill the screen. See, we did Moby, INSM. Morningstar type signal, bullish engulfing. If this opens positive, it's telling us that the T line is not acting as resistance. OHRP is a good chart, not very big volume, but it's big enough to get into. But notice where it's moved to, right smack dab to the 200. Now you have a left-right combo. If this opens and starts trading above the T line, breaking this downward trend channel, the next pop is back up to the 50, which is about a 40% move. That looks interesting. CTRL. Notice the gap up, flutter kicker, a double flutter kicker. Now, a flutter kicker is what a kicker signal with a doji in between. Double flutter kicker is with two dojis in between. Still indicates the same thing. There's still going to be a strong upside move for this one. No wonder my mouse isn't moving. I don't know. Is everybody else having that problem, or are we moving along with the slides? Lakshmi, you might have to reboot. Okay. ONTX. Now there's one that could be, once it's up above the T line, you could be looking at about a 25-30% move. HUBG. Now, we always go through the motion. Notice kind of the reason I was showing this was, this one got started with that flutter kicker type move. Notice it opened here, closed here. The next day they opened it back up above the previous day's open, did an indecisive candle, and then opened up positive. There's your flutter kicker. This is what I was illustrating. The next day they pulled it back. It was a pretty hefty pullback, but notice where they didn't close it. They didn't close it below the T line. Now, you just had a very strong signal coming up out of the oversold area. Stochastics coming up. This is why you give it one more day to see if this was this quick profit taking, and sure enough, they opened it up. More than likely, if you see a strong signal, stochastics heading up, and you see a down day that's not a signal and it doesn't close below the T line, they're still going to probably be taking it back up. Is that a double kicker? Yeah, double flutter kicker. How's that? I think that's kind of like being on double secret probation. SM or PSMI. Again, notice what's happened here. You got a Morningstar signal, kind of a lousy trading area. This usually acts like a slingshot effect. ENDP. Another very strong chart. Notice where this bottomed out. Doji, hammer, inverted hammer, bullish confirmation. If this opens positive, this should move from the 60 area right up to the 70 area, the 50-day moving average. And PBYI. This one you get ready for. So if this opens positive and starts trading positive, now you know what your next target is going to likely be. And notice where all this indecisive trading is occurring, right here at a moving average that everybody else can very easily see. What's expected for tomorrow? Is this what I just did? I can't. Oh, what's expected tomorrow, if it opens positive, you can be buying immediately. All right. BYD. Let's make these bigger. Kind of your Morningstar signal. If this opens positive, it's telling you it's still moving away from the T line, from a reversal signal. Stochastics coming out of the oversold area, breaking the T line and breaking this downward trend channel. If this is wave 1, wave 3 should be equivalent to that. Do you have definitions PDF? I don't know if the definitions The definitions are all on the website. All you have to do is go to candlestick signals area, and it will explain each one. Yeah, hold your individual requests. We'll get to them all. Now GTAT has a good chart because look where it's bottoming, right smack dab. A big hammer signal right here on the 50-day moving average. Wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. So if wave 1 has gone from $10 to $19, wave 3 could go from the $16 area to the $25 area, especially if it breaks through this little downtrending move. So the reason that we can see exactly what's going on in investor sentiment is what type of signal is happening at major support levels. That allows us to get in early. When I remember not too long ago, somebody asked, well, how many days do you have to wait to confirm that you're in an uptrend? With candlesticks, 0. If it confirms the signal, you want to be buying, which does two things for us. We're in before everybody else's confirmation kicks in, number one. And number two, if it fails, you've got a very small loss, stop loss to take you out, but your upside potential is that much greater. Yeah, so many setups, not enough money to buy them all, Tom. You just buy the ones that look good to you. And so there's people out there that have different styles of trading. Some will trade off of doji gap up. I mean, they'll just pick a few signals. Does the volume play a role? No. As long as the volume is, a lot of people say, I want to see volume going up as the price goes up. Volume and price have absolutely nothing to do with each other. If nobody is willing to sell and you're willing to buy, that price is going to go up on small volume. So as long as the volume stays where you can get in and out of the trade, which is usually where I make my universe anywhere that's trading stocks anywhere more than an average of 200,000 shares a day, I know I can get in and out fairly easily. Now this chart right here looks good. This is why we re-recommended or reiterated a buy on ITMN, because notice where the Morningstar signal occurred, right smack dab on the 50-day moving average. Now we've got kind of a little doji sandwich. Makes this very simple. You still want to be buying this one on positive trading. The next target should be coming back up to test this level at the $37 area. Yeah, all the information that you need is on the website. I think we've got over 1,300 pages, but if you just go and check the major signals and patterns, you got all the definitions you want for them. And somewhere you've got the formulas for putting them into for scanning for those signals. Morningstar signal on XONE, one of the 3D reproducers. That's got a good looking chart. I haven't even checked to see what DDD was doing. DDD hasn't changed its direction yet, still below the T line. Tesla did a left-right combo today in the oversold area after some hammer signals. Notice how the tails to the downside pretty much tell you that every time the bears knock it down, the bulls are starting to step in. Now you've got a left-right combo. This makes for an excellent trade if it opens positive. It tells you it's confirming, and it's telling you as they're moving away from the T line, making the next target your 50-day moving average. You don't worry about resistance much at the immediate next moving average. Not if your stochastics are picking up strength and you've got a buy signal. Now this one's far enough away to tell me, yeah, I want to see what it does at this point. But that again, we have the advantage of seeing what it's going to do at that point by what type of signal it has. Yeah, Tesla's coming out with their earnings. Now, a lot of people say, well, do you buy going into earnings? Remember, candlestick signals are the accumulative knowledge of everybody buying and selling during a particular time frame. So if they're buying or they're showing buy indications going into earnings, that tells you somebody that has a lot better knowledge of what's going on with the company's buying versus selling going into earnings. Now, are there surprises? Definitely there's surprises, but I can pretty much guarantee you that for every time you get hit with a negative surprise, you're going to get hit with 4 or 5 positive surprises based on earnings. Now, Tesla's now a left-right combo is a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. Kind of that little jab, left jab, and then the roundhouse right tells you that's exactly what the direction that the investors want this to go. Sorry, I thought it was sooner. This charting software is called CQG. This is kind of the grandfather of all the softwares out there. There's a lot of, but I pay, I think, about $1,100 a month for this service, only because it's got good graphics, and I trade currencies, commodities, stocks, and everything. So I have it all, and this is usually what most of the other services get their feeds from, is from CQG. But most of the brokerage services where they've got trade executions, they've also got free charting services, which are just as good. Okay, so part of the being ready is, if we know what the signals are telling us, for example, if we can see a fry pan bottom, what do we expect right at this level? We expect if they open this positive the next day, we want to be a buyer, because it's telling us that they're confirming the fry pan bottom and they're not resisting at this level anymore. And that's the exact reason why we recommended AFOP this morning, because we were right here at the resistance level. We had a doji sandwich. What do we expect after a doji sandwich? More upside. So if they open this positive, what was it telling us? That this level right here wasn't going to act as resistance, and that this J-hook pattern was probably going to be working. Now, do we always get a big move like this? Definitely not, but the probabilities of being in a situation where the big move is occurring is extremely high. That's right. One antique car a year to see my charts better. But fortunately, having good charts allows me to buy 15 or 20 cars a year. Now, here's that same scenario. We had a Morningstar signal. We had a big hammer doji, a close above the T-line, a doji just above the T-line. So if it traded positive, we knew that we were probably going to have at least a magnitude day like this, which meant our J-hook pattern was in progress. And today it gave a bonus. It moved up 3 times what the previous day was. So again, just if you can identify what's going on with the signals and what type of patterns are setting up, where you are on the stochastics, you're just improving your probabilities to be in the right place at the right time. AFOP. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be a buyer of it now, because it's probably going to move up to the top of the trend channel and then move slightly from there. There's better charts, and we're going to get to some better charts here in a minute. For example, there's that J-hook pattern on STAA. If this opens positive, it's telling us the J-hook pattern's in progress. So I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Notice how this one started, again, with the Morningstar signal and that breakout situation. So if we're looking for the setups, VNDA, notice we got kind of a doji sandwich setup. We're right at a breakout level. We came off strong signals. There's your hammer, Harami, and now we're closing above the T-line. If this opens positive tomorrow, what's that telling us? It's telling us this downtrending channel is not in effect anymore, that we're in wave 3, and wave 3 is this magnitude. That tells us if they've moved from 11 to 19, this could take us up into the $22 area. Pete, the Aika Chumikuki clouds, use my suggestion to everybody is I use candlesticks as my bricks and mortar, the basics of when to be buying and selling. Then I add everything else to that can improve my probabilities of being in the right place at the right time. I don't use the clouds very much because I'm more concentrating on the signals and the T line, but they work. I mean, again, they're around because the probabilities of what the price should be doing has now been calculated. Use whatever, I wouldn't use it as my primary, obviously, but I'd use it as a backup or as an added indicator to my charts. Let's see, what did I just do? Oh, VNDA. So you want to be buying this one. Same thing with Maxwell. Maxwell was pointed out in the chat room today. And notice what it's done. It's broken out of this kind of little wedge formation and also this rounding bottom. And notice what it bounced off of. A doji that told us if they were trading positive, they were breaking this level, which is exactly what they did, which tells me now if it trades positive, we're in wave 3, which tells me I could be up another 4 or 5 points very quickly. C or SYRG. Same scenario. Notice how it's had this rounding bottom. Notice all the indecision here. And then bam, bullish engulfing signal, and then a breakout through this level. We're in wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. That's right. Well, the Japanese, but some people ask, do you use Fibonacci numbers or do you use trend lines? I put on, anytime I see a buy signal, I start looking to see what else everybody else might be looking at, whether it's a Fibonacci number, whether it's a breakout of a resistance level, whether it was off a support level. Again, I'm looking at signals, and my first rhetorical question to myself is, why is everybody buying here? Now I look and see why everybody's buying there. What other indicators are showing that that's where the buying is coming in? Let's see, I think we did Kendai. Kendai was also setting up very nicely that if this opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying immediately because you can probably get 3 points out of this very quickly, which would be a 25% return. And TIW. Notice that we've done a doji type day right here on the at the T line. If this opens positive, what do we expect? Doji sandwich. It did a left-right combo in the oversold area. Doji sandwich. If it opens positive, it's probably going to have another day like this, which means it's going to close somewhere up here. So why not wait until it breaks the 50-day? You got to always put which one you're referring to. Vendai. Humbug. Venday. Because I'm buying the signal. I'm not buying the moving average. Where could it resist? It could resist here at the 50, but my stochastics are telling me I've got a lot of oversold condition. I'm seeing buy signals. That's close enough to tell me that the 50 is not going to act as resistance, especially if it goes through. I'm in wave 3. Worst case scenario is I buy, comes up here and resists and pulls back. I can be back out of the trade with a break even or a slightly positive trade. Let's see. ORMP was another one that's been touted around the chat room. Well. Hold on, it'll come back here. Maybe. Let's see if I do this side. Okay, this one's worked. This one's CSIQ. Very simple. If this opens positive after all the buy signals right here on the 200, it should be breaking this downtrending channel, and first pop could be back up here to the 50-day moving average. Yeah, now what one was that? Let's see. ORMP. Okay, came right back again. ORMP. What's this telling us? Sometimes we've got kind of a scoop, fry pan bottom. Now we're looking at that cup and handle. So if this comes back up through the 50, you want to be a buyer because now you have the cup and handle set up. Swift. This is what we call your best friend. Whenever they have a doji gap up, that's going to create a very strong price move. Should we be buying this right now? Well, I'd be buying it if it opens positive and trades positive, breaking this downtrending channel, because that tells me I'm in wave 3. And why would that be a strong move? Because we've got a doji gap up, your best friend, which is usually the implication of a very strong price move. Let's see, hold on, I've got just a few more here. OSUR. Another one that's setting up. You've had your strong reversal signal. Now you've got kind of a flutter kicker set up. You've closed above the T-line. If this opens positive, you've got a good potential of moving right up here to the 50 at least, which would be a good trade. So if you do a doji sandwich tomorrow, same magnitude as this day, that should take you right up to the 50. So even on a day trade, you know you can make some quick bucks on some of these. FWST. Oh, I don't know what that was. Oh, SWFT. No, you're not in the oversold area, or overbought area, number one. Number two, you're already moved up pretty strong. 3, you're just about ready to break out through here. So just because you're a little bit away from the T-line doesn't necessarily mean that your pattern is disregardable. If it breaks through here, your pattern now is wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. And so, again, this is why we want to buy the patterns. And this is to illustrate. Notice the fry pan bottom. This is one of the things, this will be one of the rules that I'll put into that if you see a fry pan bottom, you have the possibility of a whipsaw out here, because what's happening right here, lots of enthusiasm, lots of trading. And notice how they killed it and they brought it right back, a big whipsaw. And then what was the result coming out of the fry pan bottom? Very strong price move. Basically the same reason why we're holding on to BWP, because notice what's happening right now. The enthusiasm starting up, potential of a very strong price move. Let's see, did I do this one? WRES. Another one that moved up strong, broke out, consolidated. If this trades above today's open, you want to be a buyer of this one. Also tells you that you're in wave 3. Okay, I guess that's about all I've got tonight. Is there any questions on candlesticks? Okay, if not, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And do the next double line. Okay. All right. Scotty, get ready to buy this one. That's got the potential, especially if they trade it positive. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, notice where they did a lot of indecisive trading. Lots of dojis right here on the 200. Now they're back up above the T line. What's your next target? The 50-day moving average. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow using the T-line as your stop. Apple has a strong day. I still wouldn't be buying Apple on a swing trade basis, maybe more on a daily or day trade basis. But it's done exactly what it's supposed to do coming out of a series of indecisive trading. Now, this makes it very simple. If they open this positive tomorrow, telling you the 50 is not acting as resistance, means they're moving up to the next resistance level, which would be about the 545 area. And Skyworks, there's a good looking chart also. That's this one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. All the series of indecisive trading holding smack dab on the 50. Now coming back up through this resistance level tells you you're going to be in wave 3. Let's see, S.FCX. This one doesn't have anything that would entice me to be long or short. There's no direction to it. I'd be trading something else. And GMCR. This one, if you're short, you get ready to cover this if they open this positive. If you're looking to go long, you can be buying this immediately on a positive open. Zillow. Zillow, you can stay long on this one. Use the T-line as your stop. And Netflix. Netflix, with that gap up tomorrow, I'm pretty sure you're probably going to see some more confidence in the market tomorrow. So, you want to be a buyer of a positive open on this one because your doji sandwich will be taking you away from the T-line. Facebook. Facebook announced, or I don't know where Facebook was trading. I think they were trading up a little bit after hours, weren't they? This one you can be buying on positive trading with the 50 as your next target, using the T-line as your stop. WFC. WFC, you stay long as this stays above the T-line. AMD. Whoops. AMD. Kicker type signal. You buy this immediately on a positive open. Anytime you see that kicker signal, it tells you there's been a drastic change of investor sentiment. You want to be a buyer. Game. This one you can be buying on positive trading. Coming out of the slow fry pan bottom, staying above the T-line. You can buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. Brocade. This one you stay short until you see a buy signal and a close above the T-line. Nothing there yet to be a buyer. And CELG. This one you can be a buyer. It's just kind of a junky chart, but you can be a buyer on positive trading with the anticipation that they will pop it up here to the moving averages. Not a big percentage move, but at least moving in the right direction. BIOF gave back some today, but it stayed above the 3T line. You definitely want to see this open positive or trade flat tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, then more than likely they're going to bring it back and test the T line one more time. Montana. This one's kind of ugly. If you're long, you stay long, but you definitely do not want to see it close back below the T-line. There's just not enough force in it to be a buyer of it. The only way I'd be a buyer if it came back up through today's open in tomorrow's trading. Micron, this one you can be a buyer. This one's broken out. You buy this one on positive trading tomorrow and use today's open as your stop. You shouldn't see it close back below that level. S.CY, one of the solar softwares. This one's been having a hard time getting out of its own way. Notice that it hasn't had any big trading range. I'd be trading something else just because there's really no major trend to this one. The Russell should look pretty much like the Dow or the NASDAQ. Just stay long. If this opens positive with a doji sandwich, you know there should be our next target should be up here at the 50-day moving average, which again would imply that we have another 2, 3, 4 days of upside. American Express. This one, nothing I'd get excited about one way or the other. And I wouldn't get excited for two reasons, because there's no trend to it that I'd get real enthusiastic about. Number one, and number two, the percentage price move is so small. Again, an institutional type trader, just nothing that you'd want to trade for making a living. Dominion Resources, same scenario. Unless they can break this out above the $72 area, you want to stay out of it until you see a strong buy signal. And COF, another one that's just too much sideways without any magnitude of any real great return. And TRN, this one you get ready to buy because it's showing support right here at the 50 on the pullback. If it opens positive, breaking this little downtrending channel, that's when you want to be a buyer. STXS, you can't go short because it's below $5. Right now, you don't want to be in this one unless it's had a major move to the upside after hours, but I wouldn't want to be in it. And CRPT, again, shows us that when the, maybe I goofed up some of these. I better go back. STXS. That's a different story. All right. That one looks better at this point. I wouldn't be buying it, though, until it comes up, tries to break through this downtrending channel. Let me see how many I did. That one's still the same. That one's still the same. Okay, I guess I just did on one. Zynga, you can be buying. This one's got the prospect of going right up here to the 50. And NVAX, this one you get ready to buy on positive trading tomorrow. This one's got a good looking chart. Same scenario with ITMN. The reason we recommended this one, same looking good, same type of chart. But if even it comes back up into this area for a quick pop, you've got a 15% move to get there. Let's see, SanDisk. This one you stay long as you don't see a sell signal. The kicker type gap up tells you they're going to go to the top of the channel and probably go 45 degrees off of there. So just stay long until you see a sell signal. Zyop. You get ready to buy this one, but I wouldn't buy it until it does close above the T line. It's got a good buy signal. If you buy it tomorrow on positive trading, just make sure it does get through the T line. Tesoro, all you can do here is stay long. Just be aware that the magnitude of the return isn't all that tremendous with this one, but it is in an uptrend. CDTI. I don't know what the volume is on this one, but it needs to see a good amount of strength. You've got a doji sandwich type setup, so if it opens positive tomorrow, you can be buying with the next target being the 50. And ABBV. This one you can be buying also, as long as it stays up above the T line. Notice anytime you see a gap down doji in the oversold condition, that's the exhaustion down there. That's when you start looking for a buy signal. And PNC, another one that's institutional traded, moving sideways. I'd have my money someplace else. And Devon, just stay long until you see a sell signal. Just stay long, as long as it stays above the T line. And on WLL, is it a long-term resistance going back to April 2011, and overbought on weekly charts, not quite overbought on daily. Anything to do besides just keep holding? No. This one, Neil, the reason we're picking long-term charts, or picking some long-term charts, is that if the chart tells us the long term is good, again, a lot of people don't have time to sit and watch and trade even on a swing trade basis. So we're trying to find things where the chart tells us it is time to be buying this stock for the longer term, meaning anywhere, my longer term is 3 months to 2 years. But, and so if we see a long-term chart and it looks good, the next thing we do is we go and see what all the research is that's telling us, or what's going on behind that that chart, so that again, the longer term, the longer you're holding a position, the more you probably want to know what the fundamentals or what the rationale is for holding it. Where short term is just usually the short term, obviously emotional buying and selling. Goldman is another one that I wouldn't get excited about being long or short on this one. If it can break through this downtrending channel, which it looked like when it pulled back today, it stopped selling. If it starts moving back up, I wouldn't be trading Goldman, but Goldman is usually a good market indicator telling you what the overall investor sentiment is out there. FAS, the bear fund is heading down as long as the market is heading up. And BIS, another short fund heading down with the market heading up. I guess those are leveraged. Is that Verizon? Verizon, you can be buying this one, but at the 200, you want to make sure it breaks through. Now, you haven't had a left-right combo, and you've had a gap up. The Stochastic's coming up, so there's probably enough juice to get you through this level, and if they break through this level, there's going to be some more upside. Not a big percentage mover because it's an institutional trader, but at least you know you're heading in the right direction. BIOS, I don't know what the volume is on this one, but you can be buying this one on positive trading, telling us the 50 is not acting as a resistance anymore. And BDSI, this one you can be buying with the first target being the 50-day moving average. S.GDX, this is the gold. Gold is still in a downtrend. Notice how it failed right here at the 50, doing a bearish engulfing signal. Tells me that if they don't hold this level right here, that they're wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3, which will be the same magnitude move as this one. UGAZ. This one I wouldn't get too excited about. You can see it's kind of caught here in this downtrending channel. But I would be a buyer if it came back up through today's open. Oh, that's the natural gas fund. Yeah, so natural gas obviously is getting some legs underneath it again because so much of the industries in the United States are converting over to natural gas. So we did Facebook, APH, S.APH. Nothing that I'd get excited about on this one. You're in a very slow uptrend, and that's what it's doing, is a slow uptrend. If you own it, you hold it. I wouldn't be a buyer of it, though. Let's see. S.OIS. Another one that I wouldn't get excited about. I mean, you're caught sideways. It's when they break out of one end of this channel that you probably want to be trading it. Right now, even if it moved up all the way up here, you're at a 4 or 5% move. I think there's better places to have your money at this point. Ford, bah. Ford, you stay long. This is another one that we've had in long-term accounts ever since about the $2.25 level and the $5 level. This one you stay long. Right now, as long as it stays above the 50 and the T-line. As a trader, it needs to stay above the T-line. As a long-term hold, it needs to stay above the 50. I think Facebook was trading up a little bit. You can be buying this one on the slow curve with the anticipation that your next target is going to be up here at the $65 area. 8. Another one that's getting ready for a doji sandwich. If it opens positive, it should break through this level. You should have some more upside. Not a very exciting percentage move, but it'd be in the right direction. EQIX, you're in the right direction, but once again, your percentage move is going to be kind of limited. I would be a buyer, though, if I was trading this one, if it opened positive tomorrow. GDP, stay long. Notice where this broke out, right here at this level. Couldn't get below the T line. Came off a flutter kicker signal. All you can do with this one is stay long until you see a sell signal. And BEAV, you should have been out of this one today with that bearish engulfing signal. You've had a bearish engulfing signal. They tried to take it back up, and then you started seeing the tails to the upside. This one you want to be out of. You might even go short on this one if they start breaking this one down. I think BTU had a good looking chart today. Whoops. Came up and tested the 200. Whoops. How did I keep doing that? I better check back again just to make sure I haven't goofed up one more time. These, still the same scenario. I wouldn't get too excited about this because of the lack of price movement. GDP. All right, so we're back to, what did I just do? MGM. Let's start MGM. Nothing here to get excited about. I would anticipate that if they can't get it above the T line, they're eventually fading this back down to the 200-day moving average. This one you can't do anything with until it gets back up above the T line. Tweeter, whoops. Tweeter, you can be buying this one with the bounce back up toward the 50. Remember, the bigger the signal, the more compelling there is that that there's been a change of investor sentiment. Let's see, is that GM as in GM, or is that Good Morning from Australia? GM, right now you stay long as it stays above the T line. Nuance I thought had much better prospects for uptrending markets or trending business. Right now, I wouldn't be long or short until they can get it up above the T line. I don't know what the picks are for tomorrow, but I would probably be leaning toward fuel cell, even though it's a low price stock. It's in the $2.50 range. I'd be buying this one on positive trading. And Moby, on a positive trade or positive open. And there was another one. Let's see, Moby, fuel cell. Well, it shows what. I thought I had marked another one. Oh, Maxwell. Maxwell, if this breaks out tomorrow, got the possibility of another strong price move. GMCR, wouldn't buy this yet until it gets back up above the T line. Let's see, the Russell 2000 we did, Tweeter we did, SPR, Zynga, Potash. Potash, you stay long until you see a sell signal. Apple, a double top. No, not yet. Now you might have a resistance level up here. Yeah, that's where you have to watch to see whether it can break through that level. Let's see, game. Well, yeah, it would be a hanging man if you were in the overbought condition, but notice you're heading up, so that's more of just kind of a doji breakout. Remember, a signal is not a signal unless it's occurring in the right conditions of the market. We're not anywhere near the overbought condition. This looks more like a fry pan bottom breakout to me. Okay, let's see. They use slow stochastics. Rig never really got started because it was in a below the T line. Where did that just come from? This one, you probably want to stay short, or if you were thinking about going short, use today's low. If it comes down through there, it's telling you it's failed, that you're still in this downtrending channel, making down here somewhere your next target. Let's see. LinkedIn. Doji sandwich setup. We've got one doji sandwich setup already. Now you've got another. If it opens positive, it tells you the 20 is not acting as resistance. Still the potential of going up toward the 50. Let's see, get rid of that. Well, that's just fine how they do. Juniper. Juniper's having a hard time getting moving. If you're a buyer, just watch to see what it does once it gets to the 50-day moving average, because that's where, whoops, that's not what I want to do. That's what I want to do. That's where kind of your downtrending resistance would be. So if you buy this, just make sure it gets through the 50-day moving average. DLX, here's a doji sandwich setup potential, especially with your Harami gap up doji sandwich, another doji sandwich potential. All right, and we did rig. Okay, I think we've got most of them. CWP we did. That's this big fry pan bottom. You still want to be buying this on positive trading tomorrow. You were doing let's see, all right. BTU, whoops, that doesn't come up this way. It comes up this way. BTU has kind of a kicker signal. If you're buying this, just make sure it gets through the 200 very quickly. Still not a whole magnitude or a big magnitude of move on this one. All right, last one was Kendai. Kendai has the potential of being a buy tomorrow. Maybe that was the other one. How come I don't have a, there, should have a star next to that one. This one, if it opens positive tomorrow, has a good potential of popping up to the 50-day moving average over the next few days. The Pens, 4 to 3. All right, good. Okay, everybody, have a good evening. We will see you in the chat rooms tomorrow.